You board a cruise ship believing you're stepping into a floating paradise. Endless food. Endless music. The ocean stretching out like freedom itself. But somewhere between the welcome drink and the first sunset, the rules of the real world quietly change. Because once that gangway lifts, you're not just at sea. You're beyond the reach of most people who could help you. Every year, millions of passengers sail across international waters, trusting in the promise of safety. But what few realize is that cruise ships exist in a legal blind spot, governed by flags of convenience, corporate contracts, and laws that shift with latitude. And hidden in that blur of jurisdiction is a truth that rarely makes headlines. Cruise ships are one of the hardest places on Earth to investigate a crime. In 2016, a young woman named Emily boarded a Caribbean cruise with her friends. Fresh out of college. First real vacation of her life. The photos still exist, sunburned smiles, glittering blue water in the background, a floating city behind her. On the third night, Emily never returned to her cabin. Crew members searched the decks at dawn. Security reviewed grainy footage, nothing conclusive. No witnesses came forward. Her phone vanished. There were no signs of struggle. And by the time the ship docked, it was already too late. Authorities categorized the case as a possible fall overboard. No body was recovered. No charges were filed. Emily became statistically labeled as missing at sea. But here's what makes this story unsettling. Cruise ships report crime themselves. There's no onboard police department. No independent investigators at the scene. The first people to search belongings, review footage, or question witnesses are company security teams, employees whose job it is to protect the cruise line. By the time the ship reaches port and law enforcement boards, important hours, sometimes days, have already passed. Former cruise security officer Mark Jensen later admitted in an interview, "Evidence isn't handled like it is on land. The scene isn't secured the same way. And witnesses leave the country before anyone can question them." In one case, an entire cabin, the suspected site of an assault, was cleaned by housekeeping before authorities ever arrived. No tape, no photographs, just bleach and tides. And the numbers are equally troubling. Under U.S. maritime law, cruise lines must publicly report major crimes. But filings are selective, relying on technical definitions that exclude many assaults, disappearances, and thefts. Advocacy groups estimate the real crime rates could be 10 times higher than what's publicly available. Passengers often don't even know crimes occurred on their own ship until months later, if they find out at all. There's also the issue of crew vulnerability. Most cruise ship employees come from developing countries, working long contracts for low wages. Many live to a cabin, away from family for months. If something happens to them, harassment, assault, even violence, reporting it can mean being fired and stranded abroad. Several former crew members have spoken anonymously about an unspoken rule. Don't cause problems. Keep the guests happy. And so many go silent. But sometimes silence breaks. In 2019, a crew member went public with allegations of repeated assaults by fellow staff, all previously reported and quietly dismissed. Only when international media picked up the story did prosecutors reopen the cases. Yet even then, no arrests came. What makes the cruise industry so different isn't the crime itself. Crimes happen everywhere. It's the darkness that follows. Jurisdiction disputes delay action. Corporations shield liability. Ships return to service. Passengers board again, unaware of the stories buried beneath their feet. Floating cities wipe their own memory clean. And families, like Emily's, live forever with only questions. Her mother once said, "We didn't lose her to the ocean. We lost her to a system that never tried hard enough to find her." Every sunset from a cruise deck feels peaceful. Slow music, gentle wind, the blur of water and sky becoming one. But beneath that postcard surface is a fragile truth. Justice doesn't travel well at sea. And that discomforting thought lingers long after the ship docks, long after the photos fade. That sometimes, the most beautiful places hide the darkest silences. Not because the crimes don't happen, but because exposing them would threaten the illusion of the perfect escape. And as passengers continue to climb aboard for their dream vacations, somewhere between the safety drills and the dessert tables,